We've owned the shop since 1976, and we did women's clothing. But it just didn't work out. I mean, we lasted for 19 years, but by 1995, you kind of had a situation where supermarkets were really investing into broadening their range, so they were selling clothing on the cheap and that kind of thing. And generally, the village clothes shop just didn't continue to exist. So we had a choice, either sell the shop and go home, or adapt and try something new. Fortuitous though it was, the shop next door, which is adjacent to this building, the guy who owned it was about to retire. This was the video butcher. Half was butchery, half was videos. So my dad thought, right, well, let's buy his stock of about 250 videos. You know, literally back then, you had to pay £90 for a VHS tape to rent it. I mean, to buy it, to be able to rent it. So it was an expensive business. So we bought his stock of 250 tapes in 95. And then in August 95, we opened back up. We had a short, small array of videotapes on the shelves, and that's it. We kicked off. And it was weird because back in those days, there were 4 shops in this little village. And now there's not even 4 shops in the entire country. But that's how we began, and we began nervously. How do you compete with corporations that have billions of dollars? There is a way. You know, it means something to see someone face to face. You know, you can't get that. That can't be replicated. You can't get that through your remote control. Because you've got to remember that if you add up Netflix and all their films, if you add up Prime, if you add up Paramount, if you add up Disney, those 4 major streaming platforms combined still have less films than surround us here. Talking about films, my dad hated films. He despised films. He never watched films. But for him, it was people. For him, it was people. When you're in a community for 40 years, you know everybody. You've grown up with 3 different generations of people, so you know about them, and there's a bond there. So for him, it was the personal aspect. We had nothing in common at all. But it doesn't matter, because you don't have to have something in common just to get on with someone. People liked him. People really, really liked him. You know, they treated him almost like a family member. I mean, when he died, for 6 months, I had multiple people coming in every single day for 6 months, telling me how much he meant to them, which is just crazy. It is weird when someone's just your dad, and then you get strangers come in that you've never seen before, saying, I remember coming here in 1983, and he did this, and he did that, and he did that, and that was amazing. I remember when he did this, and he looked after my kid for like an hour when I had to go and get this from wherever. So yeah, I knew what people thought of him, but you just don't realize how many people you come into contact with over a period of time. You know, some people don't have great relationships with their dads. Some people don't see their dads. I was lucky, very, very fortunate, very, very blessed. Wouldn't swap it. He loved helping people in a way that other people couldn't. He loved that because it means something. When you help someone, it's great. It really is. So yeah, that really did make a difference. And he could see what we were trying to do. I love the place. I kind of realized that this place is important to some people. So you want to stay there. You're continuously torn. And I don't know the future of physical media. It's still, people have been saying it's dying for 20 years. But here we are in 2023. There's a new format, there's UHD, which is selling great guns. People are coming back to it gradually because they know the limitations of streaming. So you got to drive to kind of get films in that aren't streaming and go down as many niche avenues as possible. So when people do join, they can just let their mind take them wherever they want to go. And they can see films that they just can't see anywhere else. And that's the kind of exciting thing, in that when someone comes in, world's your oyster.